Welcome to our Monday evening call, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, every single Monday, where we talk about final expense life insurance and different types of life insurance sales. So today, what I want to talk about with y'all is a topic that I designed that was maintaining your existing book of business and marketing to your existing book of business. So there's a couple different things that are really important and key points that I think all of y'all will absolutely love, and some stuff that I do for my personal book of business. And I think stuff that I've made mistakes on that there's no reason for y'all to have to make those mistakes since I've already made them. So since I made the mistakes, I will go ahead and share those with you. So let's go ahead and let me see over here. Let's go ahead and start in the beginning with some stuff that you'll need to order. So you'll need postage. You could do stamps.com. I get these. I mean, I like these envelopes that they automatically seal, they're windowless. I can have my wife, and she's on payroll for my corporation. So she goes ahead and she handwrites the mailing address to send out to people. And you're like, that's kind of crazy. Why don't you just use like send out cards? Well, the answer is I do, right? I do. I actually do all of it. So there's not just one way to market to clients. I think you have to do it in many different ways, because a send out card they might get, right? But it might not be as personal as something that I'm putting my hand on and actually signing, right? Something to that effect. So if you're not getting a great response by using one method, use another. Or if you're getting good responses, just do multiple, right? I continue to market to my clients because I know that if I spend $1, or let's say 75 cents to get this mail out the door, I know if I do that, then it'll turn into thousands of dollars for every single stamp, envelope, and return address that I put on here and I'm sending out to my clients. I know what's going to happen and the amount of money that I make because I've been doing it for so many years. And we'll go over exactly what I like to write in them and the different types of letters that I have that I send out to clients. So one thing that I think is really important, that's crucial, I write in here: protecting your book is crucial, and constantly staying in front of your clients is what will get you more sales instead of another agent. So I want you guys to think about it from the perspective of, when you're going out in the field and selling, how many times do you run into another policy? So a policy that someone else wrote, right? And they are no longer in the business because they failed, or they're a failed agent from the perspective that they're not working their book of business, right? So if their client is thinking about buying more insurance, then it's whose responsibility to sell it to them? It's you, the person that took time to pay for a lead, go out there, sit down with the client and write that business. And you need to continually stay in front of those people. A lot of agents get fearful. They're scared, right? They're like afraid for some reason to hop on a call or talk to that client, right? They're afraid to just reach out to him for some reason because they think they might want to cancel. And that's okay. Or if that's how you feel, then wait till 9-12 months when they're on the books and then do it, right? Because then you won't get a chargeback. But at the same point in time, you want to maintain a really strong relationship with your clients. I had a client, I sent out a AEP letter to him, and he called me today. He's a great guy from North Carolina. When I used to live there, I wrote him and his wife back up in 2017, 2018. We did life and health insurance. I did both for him in that time frame. And it was just awesome, right? It was good to kind of catch up with him, talk to him for a little bit, see how he's doing, see how his wife's doing. He called me from the letter. He was like, hey, I just, I wanted to schedule an appointment. I'm like, okay, great. Who is this? And he told me his name. I'm like, man, how are you doing? He's like, great. I'm doing good. He kind of told me what's going on with him, his wife, his family. We got to catch up for a little bit. He remembers me. I remember him, right? I remember him vividly. And while he's calling me, what am I doing, right? So while he's calling me, I'm over here, I'm pulling up in my Dropbox, right? I'm looking for either my Medicare worksheet. I'm looking for an application that I wrote for him. And this just so happens, back in that time when I wrote him that many years ago, there were still paper apps, right? So I wrote him a paper app that you used to have to scan, right, and send to the carrier. So I wrote him some paper applications. I did that. And in addition to that, I was able to pull that up. I was able to pull up a life insurance application, a paper scope appointment, which is crazy. And I was also able to pull up their health insurance application. So I was able to pull up everything, and I was starting to look at it, and just because you might not remember his wife's name, but you know that you wrote both of them, right? So you look at a life insurance application and you go ahead and you're able to pull that up and say, oh, well, how's Diane doing? right? That's a big thing that goes a long way when you mention his wife's name without him having to do it. So I think that's very, very important just for y'all to know as well. So while, he calls me, I'm like, oh, Wayne, how are you? He's doing great, catching up with him. I'm doing my work on the side to make sure I can pull up everything and do my due diligence. Obviously, I already have a spreadsheet where I printed everything out to stick everything on the letters and stuff like that, to go ahead and get that on out to him. So, and I remember I remember a lot of the clients that I sat down with, but there's some names that, I look at, let me pull up my list. There's some names I look at, I'm like, I do not remember this person at all. Right. And then some people I talk with and I'm like, wow, I remember everything in detail with that client, which is why it is so good to kind of take notes. And on the Medicare worksheet, final expense worksheet, you could go ahead and you can look at that and you can write some additional notes on those pages, which is why it's so great to do that stuff in Notability on your tablet, right? Or if you're using a CRM, even if it's, Google Sheets, right? You got it, you write a date in there and you're able to write that stuff on up. So while it's fresh in your mind that day or that evening and you don't forget. Okay. And I'm a huge fan of the thank you cards, right? As soon as you leave that client's house, like later in that evening, you send them out something that's just a regular postage card, just like that, postcard rather. And you send that out to them in the mail with something, I handwrite something on the back, like, hey, thank you, or like, hi, Mary, dear Mary, whatever it is. Thank you for taking time to sit down with me and help protect your family. Please feel free to call or text me at any point in time. Thank you. Right. Boom. And then I put it in an envelope with another paper business card, even though they already have one. Right. And I send it on out to them. So that's instantly what I do when I get home. Right. That's my, hey, that's part of my routine. I write an application, I get home, I go ahead and I send the thank you card out. Okay, great. But what about clients that are already in that book? And another note actually that I do is on here. Yes, I'm handwriting this, but I also handwrite the cards or the address for the clients as well. So I'm handwriting that and I'm sending it out to them. So that way, then when they get it, they open. It's a more personalized feel. And that's a pretty cool thing as well. So you can do automated systems and those work great. And it takes a lot of the legwork out of it. But when it comes to certain things, I want them to open it. Right. So that thank you card, like I want them to open it. I don't want there to be a chance of it being junk mail, right? At all. So if you send out cards, make sure you're following up with them, which you should be doing if you're sending out a thank you card anyways, a handwritten thank you card, or if you're doing it automatically on send out cards, you're still following up with that client, texting them, calling them. So what I want to do is I'm designing a whole entire persistency training of how agents need to do it based on what Edward Mendez and we were talking about on a couple calls back, and how great that was and how much everyone loved it. We had 70 something people on that call and it was awesome. And we did a phenomenal job. He did a phenomenal job of his whole system of walking people through, hey, when he leaves, or stuff that I've already done anyways, which was, while I'm in that home, I take the client's phone, I save my phone number with my name, insurance man, like something to that effect, or, insurance agent, something along those lines with my name. And then we added one more step, which is taking a picture, a selfie with the client. So when that comes up on the phone, right, they see both of you there, like, oh, I remember who this is, right? So that was another great thing. So we do that, right? Then they get a card in a couple days, right? If you're in Texas and you're literally in your home territory, it'll probably be there in a day or 2 days, right? So it's getting there quick. So they get a card from you, right? And then about 2 weeks later, let's say right now it's the 12th, right? So about 2 weeks later, you call and you talk to the client or you text them and say, hey, I just want to make sure that you got your policy in the mail. Okay, great. You're just following on up with them. Then the next thing that you want to do, right? And, remind them, hey, just reminder, your first draft payment that comes out on the 3rd of the month. Great. Okay. So that way they have that information, which a lot of people are kind of scared to do that, right? And it doesn't really sound like, it kind of goes against the grain in this industry, which is write the app and just forget it. Well, I changed my tone with that and I'm saying, hey, I want to keep all these clients on the books, right? If I can have a 90 something % persistency, I want to know how to do that. So that's important for me as well. Now, what I do in addition to that is I'm able to, one sec, let me admit this person, boom. what I'm able to do with my clients is get them to really have that strong relationship with them, that you come a stranger, but you leave family type mentality. And the client themselves, they're actually, when they think insurance, they're calling me, right? I am the insurance guy. And if it's property and casualty and I can't help them, so be it, right? Is what it is. And that's okay. But in the end of the day, what I realized is that those clients that are loyal to you, if a client doesn't understand the other product lines that you offer, because let's say, so for me, for example, I started in 2014. Okay, so 8 years ago. 2023 will be my 9th year. Do you think that in 2018, when I started doing Medicare 4 years ago, that I went back to all of those people since 2014, right, and all the different states that I sold insurance and sent them a letter saying, hey, by the way, I started doing Medicare? No, I didn't. It was stupid. It was a bad idea. It was terrible, right? So I made that mistake so you don't have to. So if your clients don't know that you market or offer and you sell a product, they can't buy it from you, right? So you got to stay in front of them with different letters, different forms of communication, so that way you can get in front of those clients and they're aware, oh, this person does this, right? So I did it was just an AEP letter, right? So that's something that I'll pull up. But what I want to show you with the letter itself is just a Word document, or not Word document. I'll use the PDF version of it. So let's see. And I know this isn't a Medicare call, but I want to show you examples. So right here, let's go to share screen, share. So right here, right, we have a bunch of different insurance company names. Okay, so that's huge. So you're looking at all the different insurance company names, and here's what it is. So they can see that, hey, maybe they have United Healthcare, right? But they also see that there's other companies there. So they see that that you market with different companies, that you're not just working with one company, which is super important, right? So that's crucial for us as agents to be explaining to our clients, hey, just so you know, I don't care about the company. I care about you and what's best for you, okay? Putting you in the best plan. So I'll give you an example. I had a client that called me for life insurance, and she wanted to buy more life insurance. Okay, I pull it on up. This client is in North Carolina. They bought life insurance from me in 2017. Back then I did a non-medical term policy for the husband. I did a non-med because he was the higher earner. So if he had passed away, you know, she needed more income to make up for it. She obviously's got life insurance too with me as well. So I did a term product, a 10-year term product back in 2017. In fact, coming up, it was like this January or February. That is now 6 years. She's only got 4 years left in the term. So she had called me, talked to me. She wasn't actually calling to buy more insurance. She was calling to change her bank, right? Which is perfect. And the reason why she got in contact with me was because I went ahead and I sent her out a letter because it was a return payment and she had switched bank accounts, right? She switched to another bank. So I had taken time to literally go in there. I'm like, oh, okay, boom. Let me just write something on up. I said, hey, Jody, you know, this is holding. There must have been an error with the bank or something along those lines. You know, just give me a phone call. You can either call me or you can call Transamerica to go ahead and get this fixed, right? So boom, she reached out to me, shot me a text message. Hey, when are you free to talk and go over this? I answered the phone, got all the information over the phone. I had Notability. I had them sign stuff in Notability. Okay. So years later, I still got everything that I need in Notability to make it happen and get it done and update the payment. But in addition to that, the beautiful thing was I got to review the case and look at my existing book of business, which you can do with Prosperity and every single company, just so you know. So you can look at every single carrier. Let's see over here. If you go to Prosperity's agent portal, if you just go ahead and you log in, you go to the reports section of Prosperity's agent portal. And then what you do is you hit download policies. Let me go ahead and just share my screen here. Share screen 1. You can see this. You hit download policies, and what it does is it's going to prompt you right here to download policy report. Okay. And it's going to open up an Excel spreadsheet of all your clients. So how cool is that? So you can literally go into, into Prosperity there, download all your policies, your clients, and now you got the mailing address, you got the policy numbers, you got every single thing in here for all of these clients. You have their age, when was the application entered, how much are they paying a month, right? So stuff that you can start marketing to your clients. And if you didn't do a good job at keeping the data, like I didn't, right, in the past, but I do now, well, there you go. There's a great way to get it. And you can pull this from all companies. They have, ways that you can run reports and get your clients and pull all your clients. So that's a phenomenal thing to do. And then you could just put it in whatever format that you need to upload it to whatever system you use, send out cards, to get mail out the door, which is great. And you can just pay, well, you look at send out cards and how they work. So you could do that, which is great. Or you can download them and then you can print them out and you can put the mailing address on there and you could do it at your home, right? Whatever you can afford. You got to do it within your budget, of course, because budget's the most important thing. But for me, I want to spend as much money as I possibly can on this stuff because I've already paid for the lead. I've already bought this lead. I already took time out of my life to sit down with this client, right, and get him insurance. And now is the best time, better than ever, to be writing a client a letter of something to the effect of, hey, Mary, I just want to take time to reach out with you. I know with the price of everything going up, my clients are calling me all the time asking for more insurance because they know that the price of a funeral from when we sat down and talked, right, has gone up. So they decided that they wanted to add some more coverage in. Here, let me give you 3 different options that might make more sense for you to make sure your family's protected when that day comes. It's period, right? It's always better to have more insurance than not enough. Something to that effect. And if you send out, like for me, I'm looking at my stuff. I have thousands of people to mail to, thousands, right? And it's not just people that are in force, okay? In force policies are your number 1 priority. That is who you mail to first. The people that you got on the books. That's top priority, in force policies. But after that, you got to look through your lapses, right? So on that spreadsheet, I wish I still had it up. Actually, I got it right over here. On your spreadsheets, what you can do is with the insurance company, it tells you the issue date of the policy, when it was issued. And then let me go to a lapse policy lapsed. So it'll tell you when the policy started and then when it lapsed, right? So it'll tell you the issue date, the effective date, and then it'll tell you the termination date of the policy. So if I look at this one policy here and I see that I wrote this policy in 2018, okay, but the policy lapsed in 2020, well, I didn't do a good job of retaining that client. Maybe I should call him. Maybe I should send something out to him. Well, what type of letter do you send out to a client that lapsed that long ago, but was a proven premium payer, right? So they paid for a while. You didn't have a chargeback on them. In fact, you got some renewals too. They didn't die. At least you don't think that they died. You still have their phone number. You still got their mailing address. You still got their age, their policy number, right? You have their account, their routing number, their social security number, the date of birth. You got everything. You got all the information. And if you didn't save their social security number and their account and routing number because you weren't doing the final expense worksheet, shame on you. I'm just kidding, because I didn't do that stuff myself for many, many years. But now at least you have the knowledge and the information to do it. So one thing that you, at least this going forward now, right? So if I need to rewrite that case 2 years later, right, I'm going to do it. Prime example, Lori texted me, a client. She texted me and she said, hey, my husband lost his job. We need to borrow some cash from the policy, right? So she borrowed money. She ended up actually, or the policy was from like 2018. She needed to borrow some money from it. I explained to her what happened. He still doesn't have his job back. This is months back now. So the policy is going to lapse because they can't afford to pay it. And she already took all the cash value out of it. So there's no automatic premium loan provision. So the automatic premium loan provision, real quick, what that means is if there's no cash or there's no premium payment that comes in, the cash value is used to pay that premium to keep it alive. So as long as there's cash value in there, it'll keep it alive. The policy ended up lapsing. So for her, right, this happened in like June timeframe and the policy just lapsed. She didn't make any more premium payments on it, which is okay because I had her for a client for a long period of time. Okay. But if I didn't have my finger on the pulse, I wouldn't have noticed that. So let's say, for example, that, this client over here lapsed back at that period of time, and I had very poor follow-up game. And because I had poor follow-up game, what ended up happening with the client, right, is I never wrote the business. So what does that client do? They take time to send in a lead card, right? And who does that lead card go to? Goes to Daryl, right? Goes to John, goes to Brian, goes to Cindy, goes to somebody. Somebody's going to get that lead card and they're going to go back out there. Hey, yeah, I had insurance, but that insurance man, he never came back out. Really? What happened? Well, called him, texted him, didn't work. Megan had that example. Megan had that example of this guy that wrote them 2 cases in St. Louis, and she ended up writing $330 a month in premium because their agent never called back. It's crazy. It blows my mind. The agent never called back. And I was like, wow, that's insane. That's insane. The agent never called back. The agent failed, right? Because the agent's not following the steps of the things that they need to do. You can keep buying leads. You always have to need new blood, because we're literally in the insurance business where people die. So you always need a new blood to expand your pool. But for Lori's situation, where her policy had lapsed, I need to stay in front of that client. Okay. So I need to have reminders on my calendar. I use Zoom a lot, right? So I do Zoom a lot. So what I do is I literally go on Zoom and I schedule a meeting, right? I don't invite anyone to the meeting. I just schedule a meeting, and then boom, it's going to pop up for a month later. Hey, Lori, how's everything going? Right? Shoot her a text. Hey, Lori, how's everything going? Did your husband get his job back? Just let me know when you want to start that policy back on up. She replied to me when I had texted her, and she said, hey, unfortunately, things aren't going well. I'm happy that we got that insurance money out, the cash value, but we're about 2 months behind on our bills. He just got his job and he's catching up. So probably follow up, like September, October timeframe. So I send myself, I have in my email, right? I can do a send later feature, and it's called Mixmax, which is MIXMAX, MIXMAX. And it's an extension on Google Chrome, because I use Gmail. I have G Suite for my business. So I go ahead and I can send an email to myself in the future, right? So now I have another reminder. I put it on a Zoom. I put it on my calendar, right? Well, Zoom automatically adds it to my calendar. That's why I do that. And then I send myself an email for the future, right? And if you have a CRM, I have a project management tool. I have Monday.com, which is a CRM as well. I also set a reminder there. So it's literally hitting me. I'm getting hit 5 different ways. Sell this person insurance, sell this person insurance, sell this person insurance, right? Don't let someone else do it. And now with all that follow-up game, let's say, for example, I missed 1 month of following up with Lori. She'll still, because I followed up her for 3 months in a row, been her agent for 5 years, 4 or 5 years, she's still going to probably call me, right? But I need to be persistent, because I'm not losing that $800 to another agent, right? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. When she needs to get rewritten with life insurance, I'm going to be the person to do it. I'm not allowing her to send in another lead. So if you think about it from that perspective, a lead costs $36. Okay. How much does this cost you? Does this cost you $36 again? No, I already paid the $36. Doesn't cost me $36 to send out an envelope. Doesn't cost me that amount of money to retain my business. So I don't have to buy the lead again. So would I spend $10 more to retain my business and eventually sell that client more insurance? Because I would say realistically, probably about 90% of clients throughout their lifespan buy more insurance. In that ballpark, probably 9 out of 10 people are going to buy more insurance throughout their lifetime, which is why obviously you guys go in and you see people with existing insurance and 5 different policies, and you're trying to figure out, make sense of this stuff, which is incredibly important. So let me go back into my notes over here and see some other stuff that I've missed. So, okay, here's another really great point. Really great point. So as I look through my policies over here, okay, I extract the data from Prosperity's website. I can see their date of birth. And then if I just go ahead and I hit Control All, and then I filter it, you can sort by people's date of birth. So what you can do here is you can find people, since now you're a well-rounded agent and you're marketing different types of products, you can find people that are 65 and up, or preferably 64 and turning 65 within the next year or so, right? So you want to start marketing to those clients for their health insurance as well. So that's a very creative way to do it. Even the people that have lapsed, a name and a number is still a lead, okay? They lapsed at some point in time, and you probably didn't do your job to following up with them, and that's okay. But now you're learning that no way I'm going to let that happen again, okay? So I have clients here. Let me sort Z to A. I have clients here that were born in 1978, right? That's not going to work. So to be 65, you have to be born 1957 for this year. So what I want to do is I want to scroll, and obviously we know people can be disabled, right? But I want to scroll now for all my 57s, my people that are 57, and also all my 58s. Look at this. Well, I can't show you guys obviously because it's on my spreadsheet with all the clients' important information. I think that might break HIPAA. But with that said, I can look at my spreadsheet and I can boom, pull it up. Hey, this person's date of birth over here, let's say, for example, is 10/5/58, 11/6/58, 11/25/58. What is that telling you? That's telling you that, hey, they're aging into Medicare, right? I'm no longer a one-trick pony. I don't just sell one thing. All the agents that we go and replace that are dealing with just final expense, right? And then they stay in a hamster wheel and they don't sell other products eventually throughout their career, right? Once you get comfortable, that's when you start doing it, right? But they never expand their business and they're a one-trick pony. Yeah, it's going to be hard. So I'm going to go back to all these clients, even if they lapsed, even if they canceled. That is still a great lead to talk to this client and send them out something related to all the different products that we offer. Hey, let's use this person's name, Patricia, right? Hey, Patricia, I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate you allowing us to help protect your family. Okay. Here's some of the different things that we offered, or even better, we noticed that you're turning 65 soon. It can be a very confusing time when people age into Medicare. If you need help with anything, just feel free to reach out to us, right? Something to that effect. Because remember, when it comes to Medicare, you can talk about Medicare supplements and market however you'd like. These are your final expense clients. You can market non-health related products to, or non-life related products to them. So if you want to start selling other products to your clients, they need to be aware that you sell those other products. Okay. Because another thing that's really important is that you might have sold them a life insurance product, but you didn't sell them a health insurance product. So in their mind, they might not even remember to call you if they need help with health insurance. Yeah, sure, your business card says it, right? But what's going to happen is their health insurance agent doesn't answer the phone one day. So they need help with it. So they send a card in. Or better yet, instead of them sending a card in, you send them out something in the mail that says, hey, by the way, just so you know, here's the different things that I offer. So that's another letter that you can send, right? So we have our thank you card letters. We have our T65 letters. We have our all products we offer, right? Full service letter. We have our increase in coverage letter that we talked about before, right? Which was, hey, just so you know, the cost, I don't know if you noticed, but the cost of everything's gone up, including funeral cost. Now I want to show you guys a really cool thing that y'all gotten in an email today. I want to show you that too as well. So that's something that I was doing, or I am doing all the time with my clients and staying in front of them. The whole purpose of buying leads is to build up a book of business, right? So we want to build up a book of business of our clients. That's the objective. That's the reason why we do it, right? So you want to build up a nice, healthy book of business for your clients. That way you can go ahead and continue to market to them in the future. That's our objective, right? So I thought of a really creative way today that I think you guys, and I sent out an email to everyone that I think y'all will absolutely love. And we're going to go over that in just a second. So we talked about our increase in coverage letter. Okay. We talked about our referral, or we did not talk about our referrals letter actually. So let me cover that. So we have a referral letter. Hey, Miss Mary, I wanted to thank you for being an honored customer or preferred customer to us and allowing us to help protect your family. We always appreciate it when people take time to allow us to help protect their friends and their family members. Do you know anyone that might need help with their life insurance? If so, boom, please call me or something to that effect. And you can even put in there, if you want, that you can give gift cards for referrals. Okay. You just can't make it contingent upon a sale, right? But I'm also the sales department, right? I'm not the compliance department. I'm the sales department. So for you guys, you can do that as well for a referral letter. Okay. And let's talk, well, I'm going to talk about a creative way to do it. A missed payment letter is also something that I do as well. A missed payment letter is different from a lapse or cancellation letter, just so you know. Okay, so a missed payment letter is what we were talking about earlier with those two clients that were prompted to call me. And that one lady, the first one, Jody, whose husband had a 10-year term that's going to be 6 years in January or February, that I'm now going to write him a new term policy. So guys, as healthy as can be. And now, since the products have changed dramatically, that you can now get a preferred plus rating class, non-medical, this guy's going to get a much better product, same rate with more insurance for a longer period of time. That's phenomenal. And she's thrilled and she loves me. So when she thinks insurance, she's going to call me. She was actually a referral. This lady was a referral. And I wrote like $300 in premium in that house. And now I'm writing another policy for him. So it's another it was like $840. So over there is a missed payment letter, which we talked about, which I sent out to those clients, prompted a phone call or a text message. Another one that I send out is a lapse letter / cancellation letter. Hey, I just wanted to let you know, and this is also important for people that have had policies for 2 years, right, or more, because you know that the contestability is up. So some people you sit down with, like, they're sick, they have cancer, they've sat down with 6 insurance agents in their life, they know the system, right? They know how to manipulate the system, and they don't tell you any. And I don't take any medications. You go and write the app, and oh, would you look at that? You're on a cancer drug or you're on a dementia drug. Surprise, surprise, right? And they get you to run an application. So people aren't always honest with us, but we do the best to underwrite cases, get the medications, and run the applications. That's literally all of our job. That's all we can do in the end of the day. We're not going and getting 10 years of medical records to look at stuff. So a lapse, especially if it's, past that period, right? I always tell them, hey, this policy is guaranteed to pay. You can't lose this, right? And this is the best rate, Miss Mary. We never get younger in life. And as we get older, we generally don't get healthier. So I just want to make sure that your family isn't stuck with a bill when you pass away. Please give me a call when you get a chance. Call or text. I always say text in there as well. I always include text. Don't really email me. Emails can go to junk too. So that's a lapse letter. And then you also have a cancellation letter, right? And I always take the blame, like, hey, something happened with the bank, right? Right. And, the missed payment, right? I always play it like that. Like, something happened, with the bank. I don't know what happened. I take the blame for it or something along those lines. I never blame the client is what I'm saying. And you can also have a cancellation letter as well that you can do. Hey, I noticed that something went wrong with your policy. Please give me a phone call when you get a chance. I need to make sure that you and your family are protected, because if someone passes away, I don't want to get in any trouble with the insurance company if your family member were to call me and ask if you had an active policy. You wouldn't believe how many times a family member has called me and said, Mom would never cancel that insurance, and I don't want to get in trouble. Please call me when you can so we can help resolve this issue. Takes you a little bit of time. And I'll pre-type some of these letters up, and then I'll send them on out to y'all. So I want y'all to just think of all the different reasons to send letters. Okay. And then here's another thing too. Personalize the letter to them. Okay. So put something creative in there, right? When we do send out cards, for the thank you card, that can be just a generic card, and we do it in an easy, very, very simplistic system. And we want systems to be simple. Okay. But the marketing post-sale down the line, we want that to be a little bit more complex, to where they see handwriting on there. Because are you going to open something that's handwritten to you? Yes, always. Right. But if it looks like another piece of junk mail, they might not open it. So if you need to get more sales, you want to do that. So personalize it to them. Right. So if you have a new baby yourself, or a new grandbaby, brand new grandbaby coming in the family, right? Share that with them with a picture to update them, right? No marketing in that. You don't need to send marketing to sell more insurance, right? Hey, I just wanted to let you know that our family just brought on its newest member, XYZ name, right? And here's a picture, attach a picture in there, something like that, right? Beautiful, nice picture, send it on out to them. Help us celebrate the joy of having a new family, right? And that can lead into referrals. And you could put there's always hints. You can always drop hints in there, right? About how you help protect children as well. One thing that I did with my son, literally this is what I did with my son, is I have a limited pay option plan. And it's a 20 pay plan where it's only paid for 20 years. It's an increasing death benefit. So over time, the death benefit's going to increase on the policy. It's a whole life policy because I use the dividend, the participating dividend, to purchase additional reduced paid up insurance, right? So, I mean, by the 20 years from now, I think it's a $75,000 whole life policy. And that's going to go like crazy, and it spits off cash value. It's awesome. And you could do that with Transamerica, as you guys know that they have really phenomenal traditional products that I like. It's a pain to write the company. It's kind of inconvenient on the final expense side, especially. But for traditional products, they have great traditional products. The lifetime whole life also pays 10% higher commission, right? And if you run into people that are healthy, 77, 78 years old, this product, by the way, was not around in the past, right? And I used to do business with Foresters. And the only reason I used to write Foresters was because of their non-traditional or their non-final expense products, their traditional life products. And then I compared them to these ones, and I'm like, there's a 0% chance I will ever write that. They have no niche in the marketplace, none. Doesn't make any sense at all. There's no niche. So I look at the whole life products. I do a comparison. I'm like, oh, okay, this is better for my son, right? Oh, this is better for me and my wife, right? We have preferred plus rating classes, right? I'm in great health. My wife's in great health. I run a ton. Did my blood pressure yesterday. It was 112/58 because I was at my in-laws. My father-in-law has a blood pressure monitor, and he's like, "That's really low." I'm like, "No, that is phenomenal. That's a runner's heart rate. Mine should be lower. Maybe I can get it to 110/50 for a resting heart rate, right? That's really good." So you get a really great rating class, a preferred plus rating class, without having to do a medical exam. Okay. And there's other companies that offer that. So that's a phenomenal thing as well that you have to keep in there. So celebrate a new family member with them. Update them with what's going on with your family. Hey, I just want to let you know my son just got married. Boom, send out that they're celebrating with you. They're happy with you. They're excited with you. And then you can stay in front of them, right? They like that stuff. People take cards when so for example, my friend's getting married. I got a picture of the save the date, and it's on my refrigerator. So imagine if you sent something like that to your clients. Okay. And I know it's not inexpensive to do that stuff. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to share the email that I sent out to you guys today. If you didn't get it, just let me know. But this is just a little brochure that I got on Prosperity's website. It's called the Memorial Planning Guide. And this is fine, right? Confluence of Prosperity, because if you look at it, page 1 mentions prosperity and page 4 mentions prosperity, but I don't see it on page 2 or on page 3. So a creative thing that I want you all to start doing now is on this guide over here. Okay, this is a memorial guide. Let's kind of walk through it and what it has. This is information that the client's going to fill out. Okay, all of their information that they have in here: current address, marital status, name of spouse, if a veteran, service branch of service, rank, data. Okay, so you can have them, you see all this stuff, family information, father's name. This is stuff that you need for what? A death certificate, right? So there's certain things that you need for a death certificate that you have to gather. Okay, and this is some of it: family information, their mother's, father's, maiden name, stuff like that. Okay, so they did a really good job of doing this. Children's names and birth dates, right? Funeral requests, preferred funeral home, services to be held, church, funeral home, other. If church, what's the name? Favorite hymns, special requests, flowers, contributions, cemetery name. Is deed available? Yes or no? I prefer burial. And you could just keep going with this stuff. key family members to contact, Paul Bearers, Clark. I mean, you guys see it. Let's go to the next page here. Legal and financial matters, executor of the estate, phone number, right? Agent name, agent phone number, yours. So when you do this, right, you just go ahead and you take your information, you put it in here. So on all these, when you print them out, you have it. Safety deposit box, life insurance number, company, bank, policy number, right? You want to be doing this stuff, life insurance too. So this is stuff for you to do with your clients and be proactive on. Okay. And you can tell them, kind of like when you're filling out something online, it has an asterisk next to it. Hey, this is required that you have to fill out, right? You don't need to fill out credit cards or, checking account, stuff like that, right? But it's good for them to know this stuff because when you pass away, they are going to need to know it. Okay. Location of important papers and documents, right? Income, tax papers, mortgage, etc. Okay. So you can write all that stuff in there so they have it. Say safety deposit box, safe inside their closet or, in their wall behind the picture. So what I want you guys to do with this now, and you don't have to include prosperity in here. I don't care if you sell them or not. It's just where I found it, is I want you guys to start help filling this stuff out with the clients. But I want it to be a call to action for the clients. So here's something creative that I thought of. I want you to print these out, these 2 pages. I want you to go ahead, get some envelopes and stamps. I mean, you guys are going to, it's going to be crazy with the amount of stamps that you're spending money on. It'll be worth it. And what I want you to do, okay, and you can go to stamps.com and get discounts. There's creative ways to do it. But with that said, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and get your stamps, get them from Costco, get them in bulk. You can find creative ways, like I said, with stamps.com. I want you to take an envelope and I want you to go ahead and put your mailing address in here. Okay. Give it to them with a stamp and you start filling it out with them. Okay. Because what are you writing a week? Okay. 5 applications a week. So let's say, for example, if you're writing 5 applications a week, that's 20 apps per month. Okay. You're doing a thank you card and you're doing one of these that I'm going to finish in a second. But let's say it's 60 cents per stamp because that's what it's about to be. That's $12 total, which is crazy, on 20 thank you cards, plus the card, plus the envelope, plus the return address. Okay. So let's say overall, maybe you're spending another $1 to do this stuff. So you write 20 apps in a month, you're spending $20 for the first outbound thank you cards, plus another $20, right, for something to this effect. Okay. So let's say maybe you're spending an extra $60, $80 a month on additional things to keep your clients on the books. It's a lot cheaper than one $800 chargeback, isn't it? So this is a creative thing to start filling out with your clients and say, hey, fill this out to the best of your ability. Okay. And if you can't complete it all, I'll write as much information in here as I possibly can. What I need you to do is I need you to mail it to me. Okay. Once you complete it, send it to me because I need to put it on file. So when you pass away, your family has all this information. They have it all. It's all done. And I already have most of the stuff in here. So let me fill this all out. You got your final expense worksheet. Let me fill this out. Place of birth, current address, marital status, etc. Right? You could start helping them fill it out. But don't complete it all. And the reason why I say don't, and you can also make it double-sided. So now you're only printing out one piece of paper. Make it double-sided. There you go. So now you saved a page. Don't fill it all out because I want them to have a call to action where they have an envelope. They have to open up the envelope, put it inside of it, write their return address on here. You could do it for them if you want. And because you already have your mailing address there, your office mailing address, whatever it is, go ahead, they peel it, they put it out, they send it out, and then boom, done. Right? Now you're getting it back in the mail. Okay. So that's a large call to action. I think when you do that, the clients are going to stay on the books a lot more. So we're going to give it a test run. I just thought of it today when I saw this today on the company's website. I thought it was a pretty good idea. So I think that would be great. I think that would be awesome for you all to start doing and giving the client a call to action. Like, hey, how serious do you think a client is if they're going to take this and fill this out? Right? That's a pretty high level call to action. I think they're going to do it. And then you make a copy of it, right? And you come drop it off. Or if they don't send it in, remember when you're reaching out, following up with them, hey, do you want me to come on by? and go over it. Maybe they didn't buy health insurance from you then. Maybe you forgot to go over a hospital indemnity at that point in time. Gives you another reason to get in the home, right? So I'm thinking ahead, right? I want to think 10 steps ahead and how to continue to market to my clients. So with that said, there is one question in here that we got. Retention goes way up when you cross sell. I completely agree with that one. The more stuff that you sell, the higher the probability they're going to stay on the books, which is why we want to sell our clients a ton of stuff. So does anyone have any questions with that? And I also appreciate everyone for joining these calls. I also, as you guys know, I clip it. I put it on YouTube, and I've been seeing a lot of really great results on YouTube. People, that can't make the calls in the evenings because I know they're working, they're out there hustling. We're doing stuff with our families. I'm getting a lot of really positive responses, positive email responses when I send out the link. So I really appreciate everyone that joins these calls. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and unmute yourself right now. Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, so Lynn said that Prosperity will send these to you for free. So there you go. Perfect. So they'll send them on out to you for free. So that's great. So you can start doing that, start filling them on out as soon as they send them to you. YouTube channel, Carlos, send me an email real quick. I'll type my email address and I'll send it to you. My YouTube channel is Final Expense Mastery, and that's one of them. And you just send me an email and I'll start sending you over some YouTube videos, and I'll add you over to the list that I have. Just send me that on over. I'll get you hooked up. I'll add you to the list and I'll start sending out some stuff. So I appreciate everyone. Mr. William, what you got? You got a question here, my man?
Yeah. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah. I want to know how are you merging those letters?
I'm sorry, say that again. How am I what?
Yeah, you have a client list, right? And you want to send these letters out to them.
Yeah.
So are you merging them in some kind of way where you're not typing separate letters? You're just pretty much having the name and address merged onto the letter?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I actually pay someone to do it all for me. I give them the raw data to customize it. So I'll put policy numbers on there and stuff like that. So I have someone that does that for me. So it makes it a lot easier. I just pay a flat rate to someone on a weekly basis that does like the grunt work of this stuff. But yeah, honestly, John Peterson, he's probably got a great system for that because he does a lot of automation with his business. So John, I don't know if you have anything that you want to add for this call on how to do it, but he's got systems that'll blow your mind. I mean, they're phenomenal, and he's got a great system, and he laid a great foundation for everything that he does with his business, which is great. So he started it from the beginning, tracking all that data and analytics. And I was like, that's crazy. I don't know how you do it, but for him, it works out phenomenal. John, okay, cool. John's unmuted.
So there's ways to do this in Microsoft where you can do like a mail merge kind of thing. That's the keyword you want to look for, is mail merge. And so you can do that within Microsoft tools. I'm pretty sure you can do it within Google as well. And so you just kind of have to get the data in a nice format: first name, last name, policy number, address, those kinds of things. And then you just kind of put those fields in the document, and then you merge those two lists together. So that's one way to do it. My follow-up game is not as strong as yours at this point, but you're giving me a lot of inspiration here. So the data is there, like you said, and just need to start getting out there and marketing to my existing clients in a more efficient manner.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So you could just probably Google it, mail merge, and that'll help you. So that's a good thing. I know everyone's got different systems that work well, but I'm getting these letters out to my clients like crazy now because I have I bought, I don't know. I was buying over 2,000 leads per year. So well over 10,000 leads I've purchased since I've been with FS, well over 10,000 leads. Like, think about all those applications that I've written, and so many of them I can't just let go to waste, right? And all the clients that I have and I've accumulated over the years, I wasn't doing them. I was doing them a disservice by not continually marketing to them. Renee, I see you're unmuted.
Yeah, I've just got a suggestion that I'm doing right now that might help somebody. I'm not as sophisticated as doing the merge thing. I will never sit down and take the time to do all of that. I'm just being honest. But what I do you can hire virtual assistants for 10 bucks an hour. So in the lead center, we get all our leads, right? Have you guys ever noticed that comment box?
Yeah.
So whenever you sell it, put the information right in that comment box. Let's say you don't have the time and the attention span to create a Google sheet for all of your policies. Put them in there and then give a virtual assistant your login information to the lead center. Let her sit there and go pay her 10 bucks an hour to go through that bad boy and just, give her the template and let her rip. I mean, 10 bucks an hour is worth your sanity, and it's worth all that added premium that you're going to bring in and maintain.
Exactly. Yeah, she's right. And that's what I actually used to do. Thank you, Renee. That's something that I used to do too, is I would, and I mean, I go out in the field, I'm still going to do that. Cause like I was saying, like I wanted to have the reminder come on Zoom and monday.com. And then I wanted it to come in an email reminder to myself. Like, I want to have it in all these different locations so I can't forget, because sometimes systems fail, right? Things happen. What if Dropbox went away tomorrow and it just disappeared? Well, I lost all of that data. No, I have it somewhere else. So that's something I would do too, because it's really easy to pull up for people because everyone's skill sets with technology are different. So you have to do what suits you. So what suits me may not suit you. What suits John may not suit you. So it's different for every single person. So you have different skill sets with technology. And this is also grunt work that can be time consuming. So I don't want to take you out of the field because there's only so many hours in the day, right? I don't want to take you out of the field and do during revenue generating hours, do non-revenue generating activities. And I know this is going to bring you in revenue, but I think you get the point. I don't want you to be out of the field just to do stuff like this. So having someone do that grunt work, like a virtual assistant, right? That you can find online or pay someone cheap to do it. We sit down with a lot of people that are retired, a lot of retired clients. My best appointment setters that I've worked with in my career, I have found, and Will, you found someone too. So maybe that's a good suggestion right there. Maybe she can help you. Ginger, I think is what her name was, right? So you find someone that's retired and that's a client of yours already. You sit down with them and say, hey, can you help me with some of the grunt work? So some stuff like that, because the data entry doesn't pay us a lot of money, right? It could make us a lot of money, but you got to pay someone to do the data entry and the grunt work of it. All righty. Well, I appreciate everyone that's on this call as per usual. So if you got any questions, shoot me an email. And if not, we will downset. Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone. You guys have a wonderful evening. I'll chop this on up. I'll put it on YouTube, and feel free to reach out to me with any questions. Thanks. Bye.